Hey, what's going on? I'm Keith here at Sports Vibes TV, and as I'm always joined on Sundays, got my guy Stephen Fox. Foxy, how's everything with you?
All is good. Salute to you. Salute to the chat. Salute to the SV Nation. We had a great win yesterday. I can't wait to talk Knicks basketball.
Yeah, so Foxy, thank you for joining me here on this Sunday. We've got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking about Alec Burks and his performance over the last couple of weeks. We're going to talk about Quickly, talk about the baby uh, Knickerbockers, baby Bockers. I'm going to a brain fart over here. We'll be talking about the baby Bockers and some of their performances last night, the energy that they were able to give us out there on the court. Also, going to talk about Obi specifically and some of the minutes that he's been getting, or lack thereof. Talk about Sims, and then we're also going to give you guys a Knicks versus Nets preview. Now, Foxy, just want to shout out a few people in the chat. Want to shout out Afro Jetty. He's saying that was the longest 2 minutes. I apologize. It was pretty long for us backstage, as you can see. As soon as the lights cut on, now my brain is jumbled.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Also, want to give a shout out to Geraldine McGyver.
Yep,
She said
First
salute
Lady
to,
of the SV Nation.
yeah. Also, salute to Justin L. He said he has a deep dive for you, Foxy.
Oh, can't wait. I'll check that out. Justin's always awesome. As I always say, Kentucky's finest. I love my Justin.
Yep, we got Delano Still as well, our very own DSJ. We've got a
Mm-hmm.
gem in Jericho Sims. That's a fact. We'll talk about him a little bit later on in the show. We've got our mod big task at hand in the building, Sports Vibes TV, with a bunch of exclamation points. Thank you, Big Task, for joining us. We got our guy Lex the Destroyer, commented on my recap earlier. I said I was looking forward to seeing him, and he's here to hold it down for us. So appreciate you guys supporting the channel and showing up for this live stream. So Foxy, any any broad thoughts you have on the game last night before we get into some of the topics?
No, it was much needed. I sent out a tweet after the game that I captured a picture of pure joy of Burks and the guys just hugging each other and RJ smiling, and that's a really good medicine. Like as in life, hope is one of the most critical things, and a win like yesterday and seeing our baby Bockers gives us hope for tomorrow. And we know the vets on this team, and we appreciate them, but the kids are our future, and they gave us hope, and real excited to talk about them tonight.
Yep, they gave us a lot of energy out there, something that the team has shown in spurts. But last night we got a full 48 minutes of high energy and high intensity defense. And I think a lot of that came from either Alec Burks being inserted into the starting lineup or the young Knicks with our bench unit that they came out in that second quarter and they were balling. I mean, it was highlight plays all over the place. I mentioned the one from Grimes to Obi for the Tomahawk alley oop. You forgot Jericho Sims out there getting blocks, being physical. You've got Quick as well being a maestro out there in the pick and roll, both for himself and finding others. So I think there was a lot to take away from that game, especially the fact that it was a game that we really wanted to see these guys step up. You know, that the Atlanta Hawks, they kind of clowned us after the loss in the playoffs. And they were talking a little crazy in the offseason, saying with their fans. So to see us be able to step up to the challenge and lock them down defensively and come out with a win on the road, I think it was big, Foxy. Big moment for us, a big moment in this season, I think.
A big moment because we talked about things happen for a reason, and whether it was sitting Kemba, whether it was the injury to D Rose, to just the hobbling of both Mitch and Noel to give Sims some minutes, we saw, like you said, we saw energy, and Thibs has been talking about that in his post game conferences too much, about the team lacked energy, and boy, we talked about it that we'll go over the starting lineup and we'll go over the second team and we'll go over a closing team, but you know what? We have another team on here, the energy team. The next time that Thibs talks about that, it's a real quick solution. Put in the baby Bockers.
Facts. We need to see more minutes from them. But before we get into some of those players, let's start with Alec Burks. He was inserted into the starting lineup because Kimba was sitting on the second night of a back-to-back, and Derrick Rose is still dealing with that ankle injury. So, Foxy, what did you see that Alec Burks was able to bring to this starting lineup out there on the court that kind of gave a different vibe than we've been seeing, throughout the start of the season?
Well, one of the things, I have to give a shout out to Thibs in the pregame yesterday. I was talking about like, please put in Deuce, please don't put Burks at the one. I like Burks. I love Burks, but I don't see him at the one. But you know what? Compared to to Kemba, I'll take Burks. He played a fine game, and you know what? The thing that's haunted us all year is third quarters. I think he had 12 unanswered points in the third quarter, and we won it 34-24 in the third quarter, and we won the game in the third quarter yesterday. So Burks, his defense IQ that we'll get into in a little while. Julius, I want to give a shout out on switches on Trey. The thing I loved about the trio is Trey looked tired at the end of the game. So those heroics in crunch time that we've seen Trey, maybe we're finding out a little solution. Full court, be physical, run them into screens, and do all that stuff. You heard it, both of us been talking all season. We're New York boys, we're Bronx boys. Play physical. And especially sometimes if you don't have the same level of talent, physicality could bring down somebody's talent if you get in their head. So I was really proud of Burks, and like I said, he has, the in the league, his nickname is AB, but the silent assassin. He doesn't like doing interviews. He's a real quiet dude, but man, does he speak loud when he gets hot. I put him up against anybody in the league, man. After watching him for 2 seasons closely, I knew about him when he was in the league before, but now, man, he gets going. He could turn it on anywhere on the court. So we're very blessed to have him, and we should utilize him. And we'll get into in a second, but a decision needs to be made about our starting team. And whether it's Burks or some other solutions we'll get into, but Burks showcase why, a really great case why he needs to be on either the starting team or doing something. We have to make changes, and Kemba is the big change.
Yeah, Burks was big in this game. He stepped up for us, starting, like I said, from the get go. He was physical, you said, with Trey. He also made Trey work on defense. You already mentioned him running into screens, and just that energy. I think the rest of the starting five kind of fed off of it. And we've seen it a lot from Alec Burks, whether it was last season with his scoring and the fact that he was able to kind of, push us through to victories last year. And then now this year, we're seeing it just from his effort. I think the starters just don't play with the same level of intensity that we saw last night with Alec Burks in that starting lineup. And I think last night was big because it was an experiment. An experiment, you don't want to take out too many pieces. And we took out Kimber Walker, inserted Alec Burks. And, the only other game that I can think of off the top of my head in which we did something similar where we took out Kimba and we started Derrick Rose was the Cavs game. And in that game, we weren't great on defense. So now it says to me, this starting lineup can't have two minuses out there on defense. So now with Alec Burks stepping up and being in that role, we see just how good this starting unit can be on defense. And now offensively, team wasn't great. There was still some issues out there. But if we're able to play the same level of defense that we saw from this team last year, and we still now, not still, but we have players like a Evan Fournier that can come in and knock some timely shots. We've got players like Quick, Obi, who are evolving and becoming better players. We have more talent on this team where we can if we just play that same level of defense we played last year, we're going to be in positions to win pretty much every single game. And I like that with Alec Burks, we're seeing that level of intensity from all five out there when he's on the court. We don't see the same.
Yeah.
We don't see the same energy when Kimba's out there, and that's unfortunate.
Not exactly, and he's shooting over 45% actually from three for the season. So that's elite shooting, folks. So especially in this league where you need it and stuff like that. So that'll keep you honest. That helps our spacing. That's a zone buster. That's D all the above. So he is wonderful. All I'm saying is, Lord, please keep him healthy. And our season is going to be dependent on. He's a critical part for us having a successful season.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be key, especially seeing how Kimba has not been effective at that point guard position. But luckily, depth is something that we have an advantage at. We have a lot of pieces, a lot of options up and down the lineup. And another option at point guard, Foxy, is going to be Emmanuel Quickley. Emmanuel Quickley over the last few games has been great. He has shown that he's developing as a point guard, as a lead guard. And Foxy, do you think Quickley is starting to knock on that door of the starting lineup, the starting rotation, to actually crack that lineup and become a starter with this team?
No, I think he's kicking the effing door open. I think he's not. I think the knocking stopped a week or so ago. While I'm talking, if you could bring up Justin's stat, which is wonderful, because I'll touch on something in the interim. Is I am so impressed. I knew he spent a lot of time in the weight room this past year, but his defense is at a whole nother level. And I think a huge factor of Quick being able to one of the him and I think Deuce is the only other guy, basically, maybe Quentin, but pick up a player full court. Just it's just really, really impressive what he's doing. You always see Thibs has a twinkle in his eye when he talks uh, about IQ because he's a student of the game. He's always studying, whether it's film, whether it's tendencies. He's trying to be better. So we've talked about it. The point guard is like going to graduate school. It takes years. So he didn't have the greatest shooting night last night, but he still dished out the 7 assists, and he still had wonderful and some special assists, in fact. But also his defense. His defense. I brought up Randall on the switches with and also Grimes. Just everybody. When I looked at Trey Young in the fourth quarter, he looked tired. I think it was like getting banged, all these things. So when it came to crunch time, maybe, like I said, we have a solution now for Trey that Oscar Robertson, a lot of greats talked about when they said, how would you guard him? And they were right, man. You got to be physical. You got to make him work on defense, exhaust him. So by the fourth quarter, he's a small guy. He's not a big guy. So beat the hell out of him. So he's not the same player in the crunch time that he is in the first quarter. And we touched on it with our buddy George from Into the Knicks verse yesterday, that I think we called it that, hey, the key to the game yesterday was Trey is an elite player. Trey's going to get his points. Trey's going to light it up. But if you keep Herter, Collins, Bogdanovich, fortunately for us, but unfortunately for them, tweaked his ankle stepping on Capella's foot. But if we kept everybody down, that was the solution. And yeah, great players are going to get those, and we did, but only 2 points in the fourth quarter, and that was everything.
Yeah, Quick has been has shocked me, honestly. I didn't expect him to step in and play as great, defensively to start this season. I know he was out there putting in the work, but I thought that was more so to help him out there offensively. But to see him go out there and look like a dog, trying to get up under, these elite players out there, and making it difficult for them, not allowing them to get comfortable on the court. I think that's really what has allowed Quick to stay with the rotation, or stay in the rotation with as many minutes as he's gotten, because to start the season, his shot wasn't falling. So for him to step up and be that big of a plus defensively, I think we have to give a round of applause for him for putting in the time. And also the steps that we've been seeing him make as a lead guard, as a point guard, I think is phenomenal. I've been saying time and time again, I think Quick has the goods to be a point guard in this league. And that's why I was a little bit skeptical with the Derrick Rose trade last season, because I said, if we make the trade for Derrick Rose, we're going to take the ball out of Quick's hand and not allow him to learn on the job as a point guard running a team with the second unit. And now, because we're so deep and we're able to withstand, injuries to a Derrick Rose, injuries to a Kimber Walker, we're allowed to see, Quick operate as that lead point guard. And I think he's showing that he has that ability. And I think if he can continue to build upon that, he's going to continue to show that he should be the starter moving forward. I think Kimba
Yep.
has shown enough. We're more than 20% through the season at this
Yeah.
point, I believe.
We're a quarter. Yeah, we're a quarter in, man.
Yeah, so we need to make some changes in order to have the same results that we got last night. And that was 48 minutes of high energy, 48 minutes of intensity on defense. And if we're able to move quickly into that starting lineup, we are still going to be able to have, only one minus defender in Evan Fournier. And then we'd be able to have Burks still in the second unit, Rose, who's a minus defender, or we still have options on the bench. We can either have Grimes still with that unit, or even go to Deuce and have him come in as well. So I think with Quick developing in front of our eyes, this is giving the Knicks a lot of options. And when you're with a team that's trying to compete to get into the playoffs, having options is a benefit. You don't want to be in a position where your hands are tied and you have holes on your in your rotations that you don't have any answers to.
Yeah, absolutely. On and also an IQ. I thought you just brought up outstanding points. I love D Rose. I'm a huge D Rose fan, but the reality is IQ is already a better defensive player than D Rose. Forget about Kemba. He's light years already better than Kemba, but he's also a better player. So your point about we have to be cognizant of you can't a lot of teams in this league have one player that they can camouflage and disguise them not being a great defensive player. You just can't put two on the court. So
Yep.
Fournier and Kemba on the court, it's not the greatest thing. And you and I talked prior to this week, and I said, you know what? Both Kemba and Fournier were our big free agent signings, and unfortunately, every time people talk about, they always lump those guys together. We really need to sever that connection and just say, you know what, Kemba's a whole different issue than Fournier. Fournier, shout out to Tommy Beers. He put out a thing that says the Knicks are 7-0 when Fournier scores 15 points or more. And as long as we set proper screens and put good ball movement and everything, he's an elite shooter. We just talked about Burks shooting over 45%. Folks, Fournier is a wonderful shooter, but you have to run the right, sets and everything to bring out the best in him. And also for four quarters, you can't get him hot and then really, like a couple of games ago, great in the first quarter and really you didn't hear the rest of the game from him. So I agree with you all the way. You can't have Kemba and Fournier on the court at the same time. But I think, like I said, I think IQ is knocking the door down. And my brother Justin talked about IQ increased his minutes 7.5 minutes for the month for November averages, and his averages are 11.2 points per game, 2.2 rebounds, 2.8 assists. His splits 45.5, field goal percentage 43.8 from three and 92.9. That's the shooting that we were expecting from him, and that slump is in the past, but Thibs is always talking about those things are going to happen. Maybe your shot's not going to fall, but if you do the other things, that's showing your value. So his ability to have those 7 assists, his ability to play good defense, that's showing his worth. And at this point in time, we love Kemba. We're both Bronx boys. He's a hometown guy. He's been a class act, but this is a business. We're trying to win a chip as an organization, and as fans, we've been longing for it for a long time. We have to treat him as a situational player that put IQ. I definitely think IQ, RJ, Fournier, Randall, and Mitch on the starting team. And on the second team, D Rose, I think he's best D Rose with those guys. But I'd put D Rose, Grimes, taking the shooting position on the second team. Burks on is the 3, Obi the 4, and Noel or Sims, depending on the situation that we have with our always injured or almost injured fives on this team. Sims, I was really proud of that kid, and we'll get in the second. And you know what? We talked about that we have a starting team, we have a second team, we have a closing team that we want D Rose on that closing team along with RJ and Randall and Burks, and depending on the situation, whether Mitch or small ball. But folks, we have an energy team now, or a team that if we want to run, as my brother said, the baby Bockers, we get those kids on the floor. We're not going to have to worry about energy. So the next time that Thibs sees maybe some of the vets, the starters lacking energy, yank them quick. Throw our boys in there, IQ, Grimes, RJOB, and Sims, and let them go, man. And you touched on it earlier. I was a little cranky yesterday with Thibs only giving 16 minutes to Obi. I wanted him to have a little more burn.
Yeah, definitely. So Foxy, I put a poll in the chat. We'll talk about Obi in a bit. He'll be the next topic. Put a poll asking who should replace Kimba in the starting lineup, whether it should be Quickly or Alec Burks. As of right now, Quickly is winning at 57%, so it's a tightly contested race. We'll see how it goes, but now it just jumped up to 62%. So you mentioned
It's a win either
Obi.
way, as long as it's not Kemba. It's a win either way.
You'll live with either or. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I think we've all seen enough. But you mentioned Obi, and to touch on Obi, Obi was electric last night. He had 11
Unbelievable.
points, 11 points in that second quarter. Whether it was the alley oop slam, whether it was him getting out in transition, the synergy between him and Quickly, how Quick is always trying to look to push the pace and find Obi out there in transition to get him in, get him in rhythm, get him good, easy looks in transition. And also, I know we've had some issues with Obi and his 3-point shooting. I think the last time we had this conversation, he was shooting right around 11%. He's got it up to 18%.
I was about to say he's flying now. I'll round it off. He's got it up to 19%, folks. So
it's still atrocious, but at least he's trending in the right direction. At least we're not coming back and saying he's at 10%. So, like you said, 16 minutes with the way the game was going, I think we should, or I know for a fact we should have seen more Obi Toppin. Julius Randle was not giving it to us offensively. And I think even though, Randle was solid on defense guarding Trey in the switches, I think Obi just had that type of energy that he was dispersing throughout the entire unit with that, whoever he was on the court with. And for us to not allow him to blossom with, getting minutes that he at this point deserves, it's not like Obi is struggling and we're saying he needs more minutes so he can get into a groove. He's out there playing great, and we need him to build upon that. And the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he's getting 20-something minutes. This 16 minutes per game is not per game, but this 16 minutes like he got last night is not going to cut it, especially when the guy's blossoming.
And especially where we see another part of our game transition. He's one of the fastest in the league going north-south in this league. And it's like you said, it's electric, man. We had 10 fast break points last night. If we gave him another 10 minutes last night, I bet that we could have had that number would have gone up. And also, if we had a few more accurate lob passes, a few of those passes were a little off yesterday. If those passes were accurate, we would have had a couple of more unbelievable ESPN top 10 moments.
Yeah, I mean, that's the youth and athleticism with that second unit. It's crazy. I mean, I loved it. It had me in here screaming. I haven't been that excited about a game in a long time, whether it was the rivalry aspect, the fact that the way that second unit was playing, the fact that we saw them, it was reminiscent of last season. We saw 48 minutes of them playing their butts off, working hard out there. Of course, there's going to be some errors, some slip ups.
That's basketball. Yeah,
exactly. The other team is going to score some amount of points, but you can't allow them to crack that 100 threshold. And we did that. We allowed that. We held them to only 90 points in the game. And I think if we had Obi out there for a little bit more, I would have felt a lot better about the game. Even though, I feel like Obi just needs more opportunity. And Thibs, for some reason, is saying he's being restricted by his preference or favoritism to certain players, whether it be Julius Randle, who's getting, paid as the marquee player on this team. So I think that's why he's allowing him to stay out there for longer stretch. But Obi is our future. And I think Obi needs to see more minutes out there.
He's understanding the game. It's like a wide receiver who understands the zone to get in between the zone he's understanding where to stand on that baseline now, to sneak on that baseline for them doing lobs game after game. I'm like, oh, he's really starting to understand this game a lot better now. He's understanding those spots, and the guy does the right position to get this guy in with his hops. He's either going to get fouled or it's a dunk or a facial. So yeah, I I'm really happy with Obi. But like you said, let's put him in a position. We see his skills. We never understood when we talked in previous shows, like, why do we have this kid hanging out at the 3-point line? He didn't do that at Dayton. His skill is, put him in a transition game, get him in the right spots, and let him take off. And that's what we want to see him do, and we see him doing it with the right guys there. So I'm real happy
Just
with
like
his
you said,
progress.
Fox. Just like you said, Foxy, we've been saying it since the offseason. We need to get him attacking the basket. Him being a spot up shooter is not his play style, not yet at least. He has to work on the jump shot a little bit more, even though some of the shots I have seen him taking, they have looked better, and he's inched up that 3-point percentage. But him attacking the basket is where he's dangerous, where he's deadly, and where it's hard for defenses to try to contain him. Because like you saw on, how are you going to defend Obi when Quick can just throw a pass to the top corner of the backboard? Obi can just sky grab it, come back down, and put up an easy layup. It's very
And if you
hard to
don't,
defend that.
then Quick has the layup. So
Exactly.
so we have him in that situation. And hey, folks, Keith dropped a great video recap of the game yesterday, and you had me laugh because we are brothers. What'd you say about your neighbors? You screaming at the TV?
Yeah, they might have called a noise complaint. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I was the same thing. My wife, I was doing my when Grimes did that behind the back, and then for that tomahawk, I was like doing my woo, my Ric Flair. My wife's like, "What's going on?" I went, "Boy, oh boy, oh boy, we just saw a play of our, and you know what? That play could come 2 times, 3 times a game, folks. Not once. If we put this team together, and let these kids go."
I mean, if that play didn't evoke some sort of response for those that were watching, then you must have been watching while you were at work and not allowed to really celebrate, because that play was phenomenal. Who would expect Grimes to go behind the back, scoop it up to Obi for a tomahawk slam? Man, that was a highlight reel
Did you
finish.
see Grimes' reaction when he did it?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's my boy. He's a dog. Hey, you know what? You want to talk Grimes for a second?
Yeah. We can talk Grimes. Yeah.
One of my favorite comments last night in the show was, I think, by our boy Wally. He said that, I really like this kid Grimes. He's really plays in your grill D. And it's true, man. There was one possession where he was up against Gallinari, who's 6'10", and he was cracking him with his chest, squaring up, playing physical. I really like this kid. And you know what? He only took 3 shots yesterday. He hit 1 or 2 from 3. We talked about in preseason, his game over the next couple of years is working on his mid-range and getting to the basket. But he'll hit his threes. But you know what? He plays serious defense already. He plays physical defense. He's not afraid. He looks like he belongs, and making a little pass like that, those are the things where it gives him confidence to keep doing stuff like that. And you got those other guys around him. Wow, man, I'm excited. And like I said, as Knicks fans, we need hope. We've had a long stretch of just saying about tomorrow. And when you see kids like this, Obi and Grimes and IQ and RJ and stuff like that, I don't want to forget RJ. He had a nice game yesterday, 15, 7 rebounds. I'm glad it's easy when you get lit up by a player like Booker. Hey, folks, RJ played great defense on so many possessions against Booker. He would have done that against anybody in the league. But it can get your confidence down. But he came back, and I'm glad, that he came back, and so I'm really happy with the young foundation of the team. But I just want Thibs to keep. We talked about this year, the depth, but it also has to be development. And we talked about you made a fantastic point on with Georgia the other day about Golden State. They're running 12 players and stuff like that. Up our rotation, Thibs. It doesn't have to be a 10-man rotation. Give the kids, it should be part development. Whether it's a Sims. Hey, we can't keep going every game. All of us are lighting candles. There's not a game that goes by with Mitch and Noel where you're going, oh my God. And then the injuries they have. He has an ankle. Noel has a knee injury. That's not the type of thing that really heals great during a season. You come back and it's like a hammy. You keep re-injuring it or something like that. Give Sims. You know what? We talked about this at the preseason, that when I did my analysis on Sims, who was third player from the last player taken, he has incredible hops. Everybody saw at the combine him banging his forehead on the rim and stuff. But I was noticing that in the summer league with it, he went up with two hands to block shots. So almost like an amateur guy fighting the old way. Like, come on, it's like who taught him this technique? That I was saying that on lobs he has so much more hops on offense than he has on defense, and it was technique wise that he was going up to block shots with his two hands. But folks, if you watch his two blocks yesterday, he went up with his one hand. He got greater height. He went off 1 foot. I think he actually went off both feet. But his technique is changing with the great, and G League is great, folks. But there's not a better education for him in real scenarios. The speed, the physicality of it, going against a Capella and everything else. So, wow. So, play this kid Sims. I really think that we need to play him because we're only a blink away from saying unfortunately, Mitch or Noel is going to be out with an injury because you see it already, man.
Yeah, Grimes and Sims are definitely two players that I think need to be inserted into that rotation and be consistent members of the rotation. So I think they have to convert Sims's two-way into a full-time NBA contract because you look at our census, I tweeted last night during the game, being the Knicks center is probably the most dangerous occupation in the NBA right now. Either Mitch goes down, Noel goes down, Taj has been out in the last few games. So Sims, him being available and him being able to have this type of impact, I think is a godsend. So, I kind of, I'm a fan. I get caught up in the moment. I'm over here sending voice notes like, hey, if Sims is going to continue to play like this, we might have to start considering shipping Noel out of the town if he can't be available because Sims was playing that good last night. And for a second rounder to have that type of impact, to have that type of physicality with elite, I won't say, yeah, Capella's an elite rebounder. I'll be nice.
He is
Not
an
an
elite
elite big.
rebounder. Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
was
an
trying to
elite
find the
rebounder.
right word. I didn't want to say
Yeah,
he was an elite big because I don't think he's at that level, but he's an elite rebounder. And for Sims to be able to play physical with him, be able to play physical when he was matched up against Collins, I think you have to applaud him, especially for a guy that really is coming in not too many expectations. The fact that he's able to give us 21 minutes of high energy play, great defense in that middle. He's allowing us to continue to have good rim protection, regardless of who's out there, whether it was him or Mitch. So to see all that from Sims, you have to give him a round of applause because it's tough out there. You're in the middle of a rivalry game. You're a rookie, and you're going up against Trey Young and one of the hottest teams heading into that game. So
the only
shout
thing with
out to
Sim,
Sims.
the only thing with Sims, I think he needs
Hmm.
to tone down his emotions. He's really he's very he's very demonstrative out there. But because I'm like saying he puts that putback jam in, and I'd be like going yeah, like Grimes, and he just walk back like nothing. You know what? But it's funny. It's such a process. We just talked about IQ last year in his rookie season. I think it was Lou Will or before the game started, he shook his hand and said, I was your idol. And that's all nice and stuff, but this is the NBA. Now in his second year, there's no more idolizing. I'm your equal. And it's very similar, I think, with Sims that, holy moly, I'm here against Clint Capella and then just a couple of plays that he made and everything, like a putback like over Capella's head and stuff like wow, man, I belong. I'm an equal. I'm not, he's not at that, or, I can play this game. It's a mental game, man. And if you feel you belong, it changes everything. So I'm glad Thibs, I don't know if he had any choice, but hey, I like Taj, but Taj is a real situational player. Let him be a defensive coach on the bench. But we need to take advantage this year, folks, of developing our kids, Grimes, IQ, Sims, and God willing, Deuce.
Yeah, and we mentioned it earlier from that conversation over there on Into the Knicks verse with George. We've seen teams that are focusing on being championship contenders as well as developing their young players. One of those being Moody with the Warriors. So I don't see why we can't include Sims as a mainstay in this rotation. I know Nerlens Noel. We paid him a decent amount of money, but the guy can't stay available for
And
us. And
he won't. You can see
it's
with
the
that knee,
history.
the
Yep.
way he's holding it, that it's only a matter of time. And I hate to say it, he looks like a great guy and stuff, but he just looks so fragile. And as weird as it sounds, Sims' body type looks like he'll be a much more durable player in the long haul
Yep.
than these guys that Mitch just, we were so glad to get him back, and he had 11 rebounds and everything else, but how long could he last with this, his ankles and this and on the deck every 2 seconds, both of them? Did we see Sims on the deck at once yesterday?
Not that I can think of.
I know. So it's like, wow,
Mitch
we
got
have
a
a,
little banged up too yesterday. I don't know if he bumped knees or what, but he had to.
no, he
He
did.
was
And we
able to come
hobbled off.
back.
So I'm like,
Luckily,
it's like, yep, it's not a game without him running off. Well, is he going to go to the dressing room or to the back of the bench or whatever? But come on, Mitch, we love you, but you're exhausting us as fans. That we can't go a game without thinking that you're going to make it through every game, and that's, hey, we're only a quarter way through, and these guys are hurting. We have 60 some odd games to go. That's why Sims is critical, that we get him minutes and get his, let him learn on the line fire, in the line of fire.
because you never know when we're going to need him in the playoffs. I'm expecting us to get into the playoffs still. I know some people have become doubters and don't think we'll be able to make that push, but I still fully expect us to be in the playoff picture, and not just the play-in picture, the actual playoff picture. So to have Sims be that physical presence off the bench for us, I think is going to be key, especially since we don't know what we're going to get from Mitchell or Nerlens Noel that far into the season. And I think the crazy part is, as we're having this conversation, we're talking about $18 million that this team has spent in the offseason that we probably could have spent elsewhere between Nerlens Noel and Kimba, because I think with the players we have now, we'd be perfectly fine if we moved forward without those two, and would have used that $18 million to bring in another wing. I think that would have been key this offseason.
Yeah, I totally agree. Couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah. So Foxy, talking about the rotation, I'm gonna close the poll. Hey, things took a change. It was originally quickly up, but now things have swayed into Alec Burks' favor. By the time I ended the poll, I think he was up 52% to 48%. Foxy, I think you said you would have preferred Quick to start moving forward.
Yeah, only because, like I said, I think that second unit intact. They know each other well now. That, let's not mess with something that's working well. I think Burks, obviously, and he demonstrated he'd be great either place. But if that second team, if we could, Grimes will fill in, just that one piece on the second team. Keep D Rose there, put in Grimes instead of IQ. Have Burks stay there, with Obi and whomever is not hurting at the five. That, yeah. But the beauty is that we have the leverage depending on the lineup, who we're playing. Maybe you want to have, Burks and stuff like that. The game has changed so much that traditional point guard is, I can't hold on to it anymore. I have to realize that, what, everyone's a combo guard, and you just hope that they have point guard skills but the beauty that we have with IQ is that he's a student of the game. He'll get it. It's the ones that are not the student of the games that think they're just going to keep picking it up. That their education is, elongated. We wanted truncated, or we wanted, shortened greatly. And I think IQ, it's a smart move for us for the future to do it. Kemba is, he is. There's situations where he's still going to have offensive games where he's going to be good, but the problem is every game he's going to get lit up. He just can't do anything. So every game is going to be a bad defensive game, but we're just hoping that maybe once in a while he'll have a good offensive game. Come on, folks. It was a nice try, but you have to, cut your losses early and just say, let's make the change. Whether it's Burks, folks, I love my SV Nation. I'll go with anything you said, but like I said, if Burks, IQ, anybody but Kemba, I'm with you.
So, Foxy, I would join you as well. I would start Emmanuel Quickly over Burks and Kimba. But the $1 million question is, Who is Tibbs gonna start against the Nets on Tuesday? Who do you think he's gonna start?
Kemba Walker. Because Tibbs, I'm serious, Tibbs cannot help but being Tibbs. And, um, I'd love to hear the chat in SV Nation what their thoughts are, but, you know, Tibbs is consistently Tibbs. We saw it last year with Peyton, and where he just stuck with him, and it only took it took almost a whole season for him to come to his senses. Like, we can't do this anymore. I'm just hoping a quarter of the way in, he learned maybe a lesson, or is there somebody in the front office that can maybe give him a kick, or Johnny Bryan, or Kenny Payne, or one of Dice, or somebody. But to answer your question, I think he's going to go with Kemba, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he'll go with Kimber as well. He'll give Kimber one more opportunity to kind of prove himself. And if not, I think we'll see a change. If not this week, next week.
You think so? Because
I
I'm
think
worried
so.
he's
He
going to
can't
go the
continue.
Peyton route, that he's going to go, I'll leave him there until he gets let up, and then I'll take him out. And where all of us are saying, what kind of strategy is that? And at the same time, you're taking away valuable development time from our young players.
I can't remember the exact quote, but Tibbs did mention he was open to some changes with that starting lineup. He allowed himself the room to make a change, and he said that after the game last night. So hopefully that's based off Alec Burks' performance and seeing the starters kind of step up without Kimba in there.
I think he's open if we lose, but if we win,
Right,
you
but we
know,
won with Burks in that starting lineup, so hopefully
you and
that
I
actually
know
holds
that.
weight.
But so, any results yet on on this vote with who they think is going to start with Kemba? Who's going to start against the Celtics?
Still allowing the votes to come in. I put up Kimba, Burks, and Quickly. Right now, Kimba is in the lead with 48%. It doesn't allow me to see what the other two have. Oh, Kimba just
Okay.
took a jump to 50%. I think you're leading them to the Kimba route.
Well, I think everybody is not me. Everybody realizes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Tibbs is going to be Tibbs.
Yeah, Tibbs. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious to everyone else, but for some reason, it's not obvious to Tibbs. And anytime you try to, question some of Tibbs' moves, people always question like, "Well,
He's
are
coach of
you
the
an
year.
NBA
You
coach?"
can't say
Yeah,
anything.
right. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
coach. I'm not an NBA coach. I'm not coach of the year, but I still understand, the basics and the fundamentals of basketball, and I can see there's a clear, difference between the starters with Kimba out there and the starters with Alec Burks out there.
Yeah, your eyes and the stats, something called plus minus every time Kevin's on court, off court. It's radical, meaning it's so unbelievably radical how much better we are without Kemba, that this sentimental tour has to come to an end.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too because I grew up with the guy, so I really want to see him succeed. But 25% into the season, and the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. So if we keep putting the same starting lineup out there and we're seeing it's not leading to positive results, at some point Tibbs is going to say, "Hey, I got to make a switch."
Yeah, or like I'm hoping that somebody above him says, we help him to make that switch. That we got to make the switch, man. We have to have. Yeah, we, like I said, the sentimental tour. I will say this though, folks, that we have to work on that defense a lot. That Atlanta had a really off game yesterday, so some of it was us, a lot of it was Atlanta missing open shots. So they shot 35% field goal and 24% from three. Some of that was us, and a lot of it was them. So let's just take this win the right way. That all of our problems are not solved. And also, folks, we only had 20 assists yesterday, and we're what in assists we're 25th in the league at 21.5. So we had less assists yesterday than what we've been complaining about, but we won. So that didn't disguise that part, that we have a lot of work to do for us to, become the team that we want to become. But it was a great victory yesterday after the loss to the Suns, the way we lost and the way we've lost over the last. It was a big win, but that leads us up to going to get against, beautiful segue, against the Brooklyn Nets on Tuesday, folks.
Yeah, we do have a big game coming up against the Brooklyn Nets. You were talking about, I forgot which stat it was. You said 3 point, or what was the points per game? I forgot which
Part
stat you mentioned. I wanted to put it up on the screen for you.
Say that again. I'm sorry, didn't hear
You
you.
mentioned a percentage. I forgot which one it was. I wanted to put it
The
on screen for you.
assists.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
assists. There we go.
25th in the
20.
league. Yeah, at 21.5.
Yeah, we dip now, unfortunately. Every time I
Yeah.
do these stats, we keep going lower and lower with the offensive numbers.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it now, and you're right. 27th at 21.4. So, what a difference one game makes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the offense, I'm not too concerned about if the defense
Either.
continues to play the way we played last night. Because if you remember last season, that was a big concern too. A lot of people were saying, the Knicks are playing solid defense, but these people are still getting, open shots and they're just missing. Well, I think when you're playing with that level of intensity, that level of energy, and you're running around the court, even when shooters are open, you make them second guess their shot because they don't know if you'll be able to close out in time. So I think if we continue to hustle out there, this team is going to be in a position to win whether our shots are falling or not, because we're making things difficult for teams like the Atlanta Hawks and hopefully for the Brooklyn Nets, and that way the game is close and then we just have to rely on our big players like Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier to make shots. And last night it was Alec Burks that made a lot of key shots. You mentioned them in the third quarter, or Emmanuel Quickley. He hit a big shot in the fourth quarter when the Hawks were trying to kind of claw their way back into the
Huge
game.
shot.
He kind of halted that right there. I don't think we mentioned it. Evan Fournier, he also had a big shot in that third quarter. Burks went off, but there was like a stretch from the second to the third quarter where the Hawks went crazy. They went on a 15-0 run, and it was Evan Fournier that knocked down two big buckets to kind of thwart that comeback. So if we have the offensive players now to knock down key shots and crucial moments of the game, we just have to allow ourselves to be in position to kind of, take the lead or extend the lead by playing solid defense for 48 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the 48 minutes. Tibbs has said, hey, we had a good game for 45, but it was that last 48 minutes. And if you got the right people on the court like that, that they'll do that. And, Julius, I'm looking for him over the next quarter of the season too. I like looking at quarters. So we went through the first quarter. Now the next quarter, living up to the halfway point of the season, I want him, to change, some of the bad habits that we've seen. Again, he didn't have much of an offensive game yesterday. 3 for 14, folks. 0 for 3 from 3. Did have 11 rebounds, 4 assists. So, and only 1 turnover, which was nice versus some of the previous games. But just his, we talked about it. He does things, and it's a nuance that if you're analyzing it and you watch it, he's like, his timing is killing everybody. He's like 2 seconds off when he gets the ball. His kickouts and stuff, where you're watching, you see them converge, and you're watching the screen. And if you hit the pause button, and you see everybody's positioning, and you're saying, "Yo, kick it out right now." The guys, Fournier's open at the 3 or everything. I don't know if he waits another second because he thinks he's going to be able to get a shot, or he's just confused from the whatever. But that 1 or 2 seconds in this league is the difference of making a shot and not making a shot. So his decision making, we have to make an assessment over the next quarter and really the rest of the season, that if you can't have a player lead your team who makes questionable decisions. It's just not great roster construction. So
conducive to winning.
It's not conducive to winning. And I know he was second team All NBA last year, but we've seen a lot of guys on crummy teams or just average teams, that are last year. We weren't expecting much, and he took the bull by the horns and had a fantastic season and everything. It didn't work out so well in the playoffs. But this season, it's a new season, and the kickouts and stuff like that, either we need to put him in a different role than a point forward, or we need to put him in a different role, because I don't think He's 27 years old. I think this is who we have. He's a very good player. He's athletic. He's a fine player, but putting him in a role that you can't have situations where he ruins, takes down the rhythm of the other players. And that's what he does sometimes. He's a rhythm vampire that he gets into his thing, ISO, and that's where I'm hoping with Thibs, yank him. Yank him. You see with the other guys, you're in a situation. I don't give a shit. He made second team All NBA last year. If he's hurting the team, take him out. And if he sulks, who gives a shit? You play right or don't play. We can't let him, show these bad things on the court and let him stay there. You got to yank him because it's just so obvious what he does sometimes. And also we talked about his chemistry with Fournier. You can't have play, back and forth with them while the other guys are just hanging out. Like, we're not going to get the ball either. Fournier's going to shoot or Randall's going to shoot, but we're closed out on this possession. That doesn't work, man. And like we said, folks, I know we lost to the Suns the other night, but watch the game. That ball movement was beautiful. That's the way basketball should be played. That everybody on the Knicks, Thibs should be showing that game and saying, this is what we have to emulate. This is what we have to be. And yeah, obviously CP3 makes that a little easier. But having an elite player like Booker and having a defensive gem like Mikal Bridges doesn't hurt either. But hey, we could emulate the spacing and stuff. We have to look at the people that are doing it right, because again, we won a game last night with only 20 assists, and we've been complaining about being like you see right here, folks, 27th in the league. And we did even worse than that yesterday, and we won and lucked out.
Yes, Foxy, you said a lot there. I'm gonna get into it, but I just want to give a shout out to Citizen X. He had a $5 super chat. He's saying you guys should be on MSG. No joke, great coverage. Thank you, Citizen X. Maybe one day
Thank
we'll
you.
be gracing the stage at MSG, chopping it up and talking about our favorite Knicks. You never know.
You never know. Crazy things happen. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my guy, Chop Low, one of my favorite people in the world. Hope all is well with you, Chop, and the family. Hope you had a great holiday. The same thing with Josh. He disagrees with me. Surprise, surprise, folks. Josh disagrees with me. Randall needs to be on the floor. It's not to score, then to help us rebound the basketball. He's our best. He's our best defensive rebounder. Josh. He's not our best. He's not a really good offensive rebounder, and arguably our best screener. Yo, I'm not going to even go there. Okay, hey, we'll agree to disagree, Josh. That's what makes the world go around.
Foxy, you mentioned us running, the offense through Julius Randle as a point forward, and they're not really being conducive to us winning. And I think that's why I'm happy with what we signed Julius Randle for. You look at Julius Randle, he's not making much more than, let's say, a John Collins, a player that plays a secondary or even a tertiary role on the Atlanta Hawks. So it allows us to have space to bring in, that big fish, that real alpha, to kind of take over the game in those key moments. So I think in terms of building this roster, at least we didn't tie too much money up in Julius Randle to the point where it forces us to continue to build around him and not being able to pivot if an opportunity presents itself to bring in, a marquee player.
I'm with you, and also I want to see his attitude if we don't bring in a marquee player and a guy like Burks lights it up, and everyone's like saying Burks, 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 and Randall's like, this is supposed to be my team. Burks is getting all the shine. He's taking all the key shots now. What's going on here? I'm supposed to be doing that. And that's not the attitude that we want. And there's sometimes, whether it was with RJ, I just got that feeling. It's like, man, I put in all this time. This should be my team. And it's like, no, it's our team, bro.
We share in all the success and we should share in the failure.
Yeah.
Supreme System Lord is saying, why is that Sports Vibe? System, let me know exactly what your
That's Chop Low, by the way.
Oh, so what is, what he's questioning? Why is that Sports Vibe?
Let me see. No, Chop, if you can. Why the starter's playing live? The starter hasn't got the head. If you can, Chop, just clarify that so Keys can answer your question.
And also, we got 92 likes. We're almost at 100. Do us a solid. If you haven't liked already, make sure you smash that like button. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Foxy and I, we go live on Sundays at 8. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon set to all. That way you can pull up to the discussion and join us talking about our favorite team, the New York Knicks.
Yeah, and please turn on that all reminder bell so you don't miss out on any of the wonderful content that my brother Keys puts out. And please share the link on your favorite social media platforms. And a shout out to the best mods in the planet: Boost Mobile, Lex the Destroyer, Delano Steel, my special friend, Canal Ban Lawyer, let's see, Citizen X. So thank you for all you do. It allows us to really focus on the broadcast while you make sure there's no trolls or everybody's being on good behavior. Quick shout out to my guy Duras, one of the greats. Hey Duras, hope all is well.
Yeah, Foxy, the mods are phenomenal because I think that was the first time we asked for any likes, and we were already at 92 by the time
They're
I said that.
magnificent, man.
You're doing a great
We're
job. Thank
very
you, guys.
blessed.
Yeah. So, Foxy, let's get into the actual game going on tomorrow. What do the Knicks have to do if we're going to be able to beat the Brooklyn Nets? I have some of their stats up above. Offensively, they're clicking right now. Well, except for James Harden. James Harden made a few comments about him still trying to find his way. But the Knicks, what are we going to have to do if we're going to, leave Brooklyn with that W?
I think, like we've talked about, ball movement, technique, screens, boxing out, hitting the right guy. We played them tough last year, and that was with Kyrie. But folks, this is not the same Nets team. They're not only an offensive juggernaut, they're a very good defensive team. They're they're number one in the league in defense against 3-point percentage. They're number two in the league against field goal percentage. So they're playing. They're only where they're not so great in is rebounding. So that's an area hopefully that we can do something. But both on the offensive side, they're right now they're putting up 109.5 points per game, 10th in the league, and they're 10th in the league giving up 105 points. So it's almost a 5-point differential between the two. So this is not the same team that we faced in the past. They made some very, very nice acquisitions this past offseason, with LaMarcus Aldridge and,
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills is a great pickup. He's shooting the hell out of the three, for them. Harris, my God, I think he's shooting like 466 from three. He is shooting over 46%. So he's really one of the elite 3-point shooters. Durant is remarkable, just legendary. Just meaning
you sounded like Future just now. Legendary.
Yeah, I just when you watch him, you just have to give the props. He's just a magnificent basketball player. James Harden is all world. So I'm looking forward to matchups. I'm looking forward. I think RJ will take on Harden. We'll see whether Randall takes on Durant. And I think it's going to be, I think it's a really good game for us. We come off this win against Atlanta. Let's play physical basketball. And this is the NBA. Anything can happen, folks.
Yeah. So, Foxy, I just ended the poll about the game tomorrow and who the chat SV Nation is thinking is going to start tomorrow. Let's see. Well, it's taking forever to pop up. So we have Kimba at 47%, Burks at 32%, and Quickley at 19%. And I think we got a chat high. We got 88 votes, almost pushing 100.
Yeah. Hey, what we always say is the SV Nation and Knicks fans, they're so savvy. They know their hoops, and they're right. They know Thibs, God bless him. They know if it's not Kemba, his second in line is another vet, Burks. And then they'll go to IQ. That is perfect. Mm-hmm. Or meaning they really know, God bless him, they know Thibs type of thinking. That would be his thought process. Let me go with Kemba, and if I can't go with Kemba, I'll go with my next vet that I trust. And then my next thing, and I like Quickley, but he's not a vet yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we do go out there and put Kimba out there, to be attacked by, let's say, a Patty Mills or something of that nature, how long do you think it'll take for Thibs to, make an adjustment and pull Kimba if he goes out there and he's not performing to standard?
He better not wait till 4 minutes left in the first quarter. You know, it's very quick.
It better be 4 minutes into the
Into
first
the
quarter.
first quarter. Epic quote. You know, you know, that's a poster. Yeah, he has to at this point in the time. It's too much has gone far in this season. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Kemba. I don't care if it's Randall. I don't care if it's RJ. I don't care who it is. If they're not playing well, we've been talking all year about a deep team. Get the hook out, yank them, and you know, you can't worry about people. There's not a popularity contest. You can't worry about people's feelings. You're getting paid money, and if you're not doing what we're telling you to do this game, then maybe you'll do it tomorrow. But I can't wait until you get your game. And again, you can't allow a player to hurt the other guys around them. It's not just one thing. You're impacting everyone. So I really hope that if he does Kemba, that he's looking at him very closely and does that. And like I said, the issue that I saw with Kemba, even on good games, by the fourth quarter, his legs, you know, the wear and tear has taken its toll on him. Not only did we not get the same Charlotte Kemba now, fourth quarter Kemba is not the same as first quarter Kemba. So I hope he realizes after yesterday. And again, the team, look at the energy and stuff, man. That energy is huge in playing hoops and playing sports, man. You know, if Kemba's hurting the energy on this team, besides him not scoring, gotta yank him. Yank him.
Yeah, hopefully we don't allow things to get too out of hand because we know the Nets have the offensive firepower to really make things or allow things to get out of control. So I think defensive intensity has to be there from the get-go. We cannot allow the other players like a Patty Mills to get into a groove. Kevin Durant is going to do what Kevin Durant does. We just have to make life as difficult for him as possible. What we can't allow is for those secondary players like a LaMarcus Aldridge, like a Patty Mills, to kind of get involved and really exploit us out there. So defense is going to be key, and Thibs can't allow us or allow Kimba to be a liability out there defensively. If Kimba's out there balling out and he's not an issue, then cool, that's fine. I'm not saying we should be trying to nitpick on Kimba, but if we are all seeing that the Nets are attacking Kimba time and time again, or they're attacking both him and Kimba. I mean, not Kimba, him and Evan Fournier, and because we don't have enough plus defenders out there, it's messing up our rotations. Then there has to be a switch made, and as we've all discussed during the show, it's going to have to be Kimba.
Yeah, and I think the same thing that we said about the game yesterday, that Trey is elite. Trey's going to get his. We just have to stop the others from getting theirs. The no names. Same thing with the Nets. Durant's going to get his, but we can't allow Ricky Rubio type of Connaughton. We can't allow these guys that you're not expecting.
We can't have Australia Patty Mills. Pretty much.
Exactly. Exactly. We can't have Australia Olympics Patty Mills, and we got to hold those guys down. Durant's going to get his, but if we can do everything on everybody else and play our game. I see my guy, Ala Wise, what I call my field producer. Hope all is well, Ala. He said, all the great things said about the Nets, they got spanked by the Suns too. We can get them. We can, but they got spanked by a great team. They got spanked, what was it, 15 in a row now? Is
it 15 or 16?
15 or 16. So, yeah, they got spanked, but we're not in the league of the Suns.
And it's not like we lost by a couple points. We got spanked too. So
yeah, so we're just trying to keep it real here. Hey, I see my guy Jay Boogie. Hey, Jay Boogie, shout out. I saw that picture with Wally. I said, yo, who's that handsome guy with Wally? Yo, it's Jay Boogie. Salute.
With the fire Jay Boogie hat too.
Yeah, we love our Jay Boogie. Hope all is well. Hopefully you had a great holiday with the family, Jay Boogie. And but it was great seeing that picture, man.
Yeah. Also, I saw Fulio mention that, here we go, Alec Burks is not a point guard. I would agree. I don't think he's a point guard. I think he's a ball handler. I think he's a scorer. And he has the abilities to run point when asked, but I don't think he's a point guard.
And we said that in the pregame with George yesterday. That's we all felt the same way, that like Atlanta in the series last year with D-Rose, he should be an emergency point guard or a situational, where his size could present, a problem for an opposing point guard. But I look at him, like you said, Josh, the same way. I look at him as a 3 or a possible 2, but not really a 1 at all. But it
Yeah.
worked
Also,
yesterday, and I'm not gonna
exactly.
complain.
Exactly. We benefited from it. Michael West is saying Kimba and Evan are a liability when they are both in the first unit at the same time, and that's a Snapple fact. Michael West, we can't have two negative defenders out there on the court at the same
Can't.
time, one or the other. And I think that's the main reason we need to make this switch with the starting lineup. It has to be either Kimba or Evan, and I think we've seen Evan step up and be an impact player. And that's why we have to make the switch with Kimba. We've already seen two instances where Kimba wasn't with that starting lineup. Once against the Cavs, and then against the Cavs, we elevated another player that was an issue defensively in Rose, and we got cooked. And we saw last night, we elevated a player that's a plus defensively throughout the season, and that starting unit was able to, hold their own up against the Atlanta Hawks. The offense wasn't great at times, but we were able to be solid defensively and allowed us to be in a position to make key shots and pull away with the win and
Yeah, and you
build a
just
big old lead.
yeah, and you just mentioned a key thing. We saw D Rose yesterday during the telecast working with bands, stretching his legs with a trainer. I'm hoping he's back by Tuesday because it changes everything. He's that fantastic of a player. So, and and again, I'd like him to stay on the second team. What he does for Obi, and also I'd think, he's so elite against second level team competition that he can do what he wants when he wants to do it. So that's why I'm saying put IQ in the place of Kemba, man, and leave D Rose on that second team for him to eat to his heart's content.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's going to be interesting to see when Rose returns. I want to see what Thibs decides to do. Who knows? Thibs might throw a curveball at us and start D Rose for all we know. Highly
Hey,
unlikely, but for all we know, it can happen.
yeah, and you know what? Like I said, if it happens, I'm down with it as long as it's not Kemba, and I'll go with IQ on the second team. I'll go with anybody. I'll go with Charlie Ward's cousin.
Foxy is ABK. Anybody but Kimba.
Anybody but Kemba. Yo, I
That's
think we.
terrible. You're gonna get me beat up next time I'm on the sound.
No, I think we got to put that thumbnail.
Caron Thomas is saying start. I think did I say that already? You got me over here laughing, and now I got a headache. I can't even see what I'm reading. Kevin Thompson is saying, yeah, start Rose, Burks, Fournier, Randall, and Robinson. Big Task is saying Kimba should have been benched a long time ago. I was fine.
God bless my big task at hand.
That sounds crazy when you say it like that, but thank God I was okay with Kimba being allowed to try to find himself. It was a new environment. I don't think we would have done him justice if we yanked him after, say, 5-10 games. But I've been saying it this whole show. We're already about 20-25% through the season, and it's time for changes to be made. We can see that the East is highly competitive. There are only two teams that really don't have a shot at anything right now. It's the Magic and the Pistons. Of course, unfortunately, we lost to the Magic twice, which would have bettered our position in terms of the standings. But we have to start making changes now. We got to get on the ball now because these other teams in the East, they're not playing games. You already see the Nets and the Chicago Bulls trying to, jump out to a big lead in the conference standings, and the Knicks, if we want to have home court advantage, try to get to that fourth seed, we have to start clicking now. We can't wait until the halfway mark of this season.
Yeah. Hey, the Celtics and 76ers are one game behind us, and the Raptors are 2 games behind us. So within 1 week, it could all change. It's been a really bizarre year, folks. I was, again, going through my numbers. It's bizarre that in the Eastern Conference, 8 out of 15 teams have a winning record. But in the West, that everyone's like, oh my God, the West, only 5 out of 15 teams have a winning record so far in the West. And which is really, really surprising. Obviously, the Lakers and Denver and a few of the others are not playing like the way that we thought they'd be playing. But this has been a different season so far. So parity in some cases, but it's interesting. So that's why you can't wait, whether it's us, with Kemba. The East is stacked. They're talented, and we have to play every game. Like we can't lose that game because it's the mean. It could literally in this, folks, it can mean either us making a playoffs or not making a playoffs at this stage every game.
Max Foxy, Supreme System Lord is saying D Rose is better than Kimba. Citizen X is saying Kimba might be better on the bench. He might play more minutes over Quick and Burks.
Yeah, D Rose sleeping is better than Kemba. So
here we go.
Trade for Fox
Foxy
or
got
Brunson.
the gloves on today.
Yeah. D Coolest 718. Hope all is well, my friend. Trade for Fox or Brunson. Boy, that's a real a change going from a player like from a Fox all the way to a guy like Brunson, who's more of a backup type of guy. But you know what? I think we should just stay pat for a little while and see what we got. And December 15th is a blink away for the trading deadline. So we have a few weeks to see how things play out. And then we'll see how things go. You know, Raphael Burgess, hope all is well. Trade for SGA. Yeah.
Michael West dropped a gem. He said last night shows that Thibs has the players to adapt to any team on the court. And that's a fact. We can go small ball with Randall at the 5, Obi at the 4. We can play big with either Mitch, Noel if he's healthy, or Sims at that center position. We can match up and we can put big guards out there if we need to with Quick, with Alec Burks, with Grimes, with RJ. There's a lot of different lineups and rotations that Thibs can play with, but for some reason he doesn't want to be creative out there, and that's what.
Yeah, Michael West, great point, my friend. Yeah, he's 100% right. You have to adapt, and look at your, and when you look at the really good coaches in the league, they do things like that. We need him to say, hey, that's why yesterday maybe the size of Burks against a small Trey was a difference. You gotta experiment and do things like that. But if you're rigid, it gets back to what you said, the definition of insanity again.
Also, Cacalicious is asking Julius Randle thoughts. I love the way that we were able to win without Julius Randle having a great game offensively. I hope he's able to look at the box score and learn from this. We don't need Julius Randle to be a 25, 12, and 4 assist type of player just to go out there and get a victory. We would like to have that Julius Randle. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but you're right up there. What we need though is like yesterday, we need the 11 and 4. So if we had the right ball movement, some nights whoever has the best shot will be lighting it up. But every night we need 11 rebounds from you, Julius. Every night we need 4 or 5 for you to make the right decisions, kick it out, and plenty of time so they have a better shot. And also that we've talked about some of his passes out to the guys, the passes over here, and they have to readjust. He's got to get more accurate with his kickouts, that he gets the ball so in one motion they're going up. If they have to readjust, the league is brutal. These guys are unbelievable athletic, unbelievably long, unbelievable recovery talent. So come on, so those things. But like you said, you know what? Everybody every once in a while needs a piece of humble pie. He reached the incredible heights last year, making second team, but he had some humble pie in the playoffs, and he's had some humble pie so far this year. You know what? You got your contract. You have all these commercials now. You living fine. Adapt, like Michael West said. Adapt. Do what's best for the team. You'll still eat, man. With everything's going on, he's a blink away from being 20-10-5. Already this season. So with everything going on, but like I said, if he can get the 10-5 every night, when he has the right matchup, you'll get the 20, and when he doesn't, have 11-5. We're fine with that.
And he got to stop trying to pass like he's LeBron James. I forgot which game it was. You saw that he was on the right wing, did the little spin pass, and it was a pass that was way off the mark. I'm like, yo, Julius Randle, you got to relax. You are not a legitimate point forward. We're just using you in this role because it's what Thibs has decided he wants to do. It's not even something that we have to do by default. Last year, something we had to do by default. But this season, we brought in players like Evan Fournier that can score and create. And we've got, players like Emmanuel Quickley, stepping up. So I don't think he has to continue to be that ball dominant. Just keep moving the rock.
That ball dominant. Boxing. Don't bring the damn ball up. We don't need you to bring the ball up. And every time
that's another big issue.
And every time we see him bring the ball up, but at full speed, You're like, here comes a turnover. He's going to be out of control. Watch this. He's going to be up. He loses the
Speaking
ball.
about that, Foxy, I think it was about with about 2 minutes or maybe a minute and a half to end the game. Last night, you see, Julius Randle bring the ball up and then he waves off Alec Burks like Alec Burks is
And
the
he's the
hot
hot
hand or
guy.
the
I'm
point
screaming,
guard.
but he's
Like,
the hot guy. You're like, why are you doing that to the hot guy? The right
yeah,
move is to give Burks the ball. Come on, man.
exactly. And then he attacks, doesn't get stripped. Then he gets blocked, and I'm like, Julius Randle, I hope somebody is sitting you down and showing you the nonsense you're doing out there
Yeah,
sometimes,
bitch slap
which
him.
is causing. I won't go that far, but it's very frustrating for us Knicks fans when you're doing nonsense like this. I don't care if we're up by 9 at the moment. You can't be
Yeah,
doing this
it's
foolishness because then you get
bad.
used to doing it.
Yeah, and yes, and that's why whether it's the coaches or whether it's the players, just saying I don't care if you like it or not, man. You got to stop that shit, because we know 3 seconds before it happens what's going to happen. Everybody knows that it's going to be a turnover. You're out of control. You're playing outside the realm of your talents here. You're very talented, but you have to play within yourself, and when you don't, you're hurting everybody, not just yourself. And
Hmm.
if you don't like that, then December 15th is coming up, and you know what? We can get along without you, Randall.
Yeah, we're seeing. I won't. You put me in a tough place because when I don't want to say it, it seemed like I want to jettison Julius
No,
Randle,
I
but
don't want to jettison Mia, but I won't have any thoughts about jettisoning him if he doesn't play the right team ball, and if he goes ISO, dribble, 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 takes these fadeaway shots, lives at the 3-point line. Hey, we saw him some games, drive into the basket, do that. The same thing with RJ's not getting to the lineup. Get to the line, get fouls, improve our foul shooting, folks. That's another thing on this team that we need to do much better this year is improve our foul shooting. RJ, did you hear me? And but yeah, I like Julius. I'd like him to be part of this foundation, but only within playing within a scheme that allows him to be the best he can be. But I think he sees himself out as a LeBron, and he's not.
he's not even close.
Not even close. Like a different galaxy. So I know,
Not
you
even
know,
this age LeBron. I don't might be on par with maybe year 2 LeBron if
not
you
in
go
even
that far.
LeBron with an abdominal strain. So it's like, come on. I know you had a thing, but it's gone to your head, man. Come on. No, no, no.
And Foxy, it really shouldn't even get to that part where
It
to
shouldn't.
that point where we think about potentially jettisoning him because you look at Tibbs and the way he reacts to players, and look at he reacted to Grimes over small mistakes. But
Yeah,
yet, you're treating Grimes like that. But Julius Randle has been doing nonsense for the majority of the start of the season, and we're really not seeing him. I don't want to say reprimand because he's a grown man. You don't want to act like they're children, but call timeout, sit him on the bench, and allow him to stew and realize that is not acceptable for this team. We need
and
some
you have to
more from
reinforce it
Tibbs. Hold them
exactly.
accountable.
But you can't. It's like you can't punish somebody a long time after they did something bad and say you got to do it at that moment so they
Hmm.
know. Yeah, every time you do that, walk over and slightly lean over and say, hey Julius, or you wait to halftime or whatever and say, or you make Kenny the Pain the messenger, and somebody saying you can't do that shit, man. We've talked about this. Come on, man. You're a great, great player. Play within yourself. When you do those other things, and like you said, that's why I said I don't see him for us winning a championship unless he makes major changes or we make major changes, having a point guard that maybe takes away him making bad decisions, somebody that could put him in make right decisions. But um, he's like I said, he's going to be 27 years old. He's getting close to his ceiling. So his IQ and the way he looks at basketball, the vision, and it's like Gretzky said, I don't look where the puck is, I look where the puck's going, and that's where we want Randall to have that insight. And if that's not him, fine, then let him. He has enough strengths that we talked about to be valuable, but don't put him in a situation where he's going to do these things. And like I said, how many of us have watched him and it's like saying, get rid of the ball. And then when he finally gets rid of the ball, it's 2 seconds later. And that's an eternity in this league.
Yeah. Also, Foxy, Rick Pennington is saying, how the hell you know that Jew thinks he's LeBron. Y'all all won tonight, y'all fans. I'm not saying I know what he thinks. I just know it looks like he's playing like he thinks he's LeBron.
Or he's
You know?
playing like he's a, that he's an elite stud, and
Yes.
he's an elite four. And if you look around the league, other than Anthony Davis, how many teams are being led by an elite four?
hmm And even then, Anthony Davis had a big drop off this season. I was
Yeah, the
looking at
man
some of the
can't
numbers
keep
for
it.
him.
He can't keep healthy, and like you said, if you don't have LeBron there, where they could double, he's not the same player. But they gave. It's crazy to think Lonzo, Ingram, Josh, how many players they and draft picks they gave up. If they just hung tight with, I think LeBron could have been all right with those kids.
Right?
Yeah.
Facts. Well, probably, yeah, because they moved a lot of those kids for Anthony Davis. But when you win that one championship, you're not really going Monday morning quarterback. You'll live with it.
Yeah, our guy Chop is saying, don't blame Mitch. Don't blame Mitch Chop for the injuries, or hey, don't blame Mitch that he doesn't have an offensive game. Don't blame Mitch that he's 3 years in and we see him still making mistakes on pick and rolls. A couple times yesterday is like he was in nowhere land. What the hell are you doing, man? You're in the league too long, Mitch, to make that mistake. Come on. You know what Capella's going to do. You know what Trey is going to do. Stick with Capella. How do you get behind the play and allow that to happen? So let me know, Chop, what do you mean? Don't blame Mitch.
I mean, Mitch did have some lapses out there, but I think he was solid. He was physical with Capella, physical with
Hey, he had
Collins when he
yeah,
had to.
absolutely. He was physical
Held down the paint.
on one
He
leg.
was good. Exactly, on one leg. And he's probably been playing with one leg for the majority of the season.
Yeah, but he also had a hip thing, which the hip bone's connected to the toe bone. So you're always worried that he has one ailment that's going to lead to another ailment. Hey, shout out to Frequency, great guy, talented guy. Hope all is well with you and your family.
Raphael Burks.
Michael West, hey, it's not a show without Michael West. That Foxy has a tendency to tear players down. So hey, like I said,
I won't go that far, Michael West.
Michael, like I said to you, I look at this as a GM. I'm looking at this about winning a chip. So yeah, I'm not looking for popularity here in my comments. I'm looking at us wearing. So when I go through the stats, I go through the film and I stop, rewind, watch, stop, rewind, watch the same play 4 times and things like that. I'm not tearing them down. It's all based on facts. It's not a gut thing. Like I'm just saying I don't like the guy. I'm basing it on facts. I want us to win a chip. So if I'm saying things about tearing down a player, because it's only because I'm making an assessment that, you know what, I don't know whether they're a foundational piece for us to win a championship.
Will Salkin is saying Mitch is still a solid defender, but we need to let go of all notions of him becoming even an average scoring center.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but unless we get like a CP3 that's going to give him constant, easy buckets at the rim, yeah, I really don't see him averaging double digits. And I think he has the talent too, but for some reason, he's really not looking to score whenever he gets the rock. He gets the ball when he's looking to give it right up.
Yeah. Hi, Will. Hope all is well. Speaking the truth as always. So
let's see. Free Kimber Ewing is saying Kimber starts and we'll be fine. Stop the capping parade tonight. I don't know. I think Kimber
is he from Soundview? Hey, where's he from? Yeah, Homer in the house. Homer in the house. Watch out. Yeah, Michael Rick Pennington. Julius is a piece. I don't agree. He's the piece. Hey, Pennington, you are on fire tonight. Well said.
I've been saying this is last season, Foxy.
Yep.
I don't want us to go out there and give Julius Randle the bag. Maybe you want to give him mid-20s. That's fine because you can see other teams that are competitive.
Yeah, we gave him a trade. We signed the good contract, tradable contract.
Exactly. Yeah. What's Aaron Gordon making over there with the Nuggets? Because I think he's making right in the same ballpark as Julius Randle, and Aaron Gordon's a third option. So I think what we're paying Julius Randle is fine. Because we're not
an athletic third option.
yeah, we're not handcuffed to him being the star player, or as Rick Pennington says, the piece.
Yeah,
being paid as a piece.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at DeCoulis free Kemba. We love Kemba, but he always leaves his man open on the perimeter trying to double team. I can't tell you, DeCoulis, how many things over this quarter of the season, 20 games in, where I'm watching the game. I watch the game like 4 times. I watch it like you as a fan the first time, and then I watch it second, third, fourth time, taking my notes as an analyst. And how many times, I don't know what the hell. And part of it, I talked on previous shows, the coolest, that there's not communication. A lot of his blunders are on switches, and that's not him talking to his teammates. You don't hear them screaming out like I want them. That, if you watch old Thibs teams with Noah and stuff, they're yelling, man. They're talking, they're communicating on their defensive assignments. So a lot of the stuff with Kemba making mistakes, yeah, he's new to the team, but where the hell are them talking, man? I want to hear them talking. I want that chatter. And he just doesn't have meaning. You saw it with Grayson Allen. There's a couple of plays with Grayson Allen. Hey, Grayson Allen is a fine 3-point shooter. He's shooting great this year, but nobody thinks of Grayson Allen as a burner. He blew past Kemba like he was standing still. So if Grayson Allen is leaving you in the dust without a screen, without anything, just looking at him off the dribble, beating him, folks, we got to say time has come for Kemba. We're not talking about Durant Fox taking you off the dribble. If Grayson Allen and others are taking you off the dribble, we gotta make some changes, man.
Yeah, Foxy, our favorite mod, or one of our favorite mods, Lex the Destroyer, saying second unit talks. You can hear it. Dead silent on the first unit.
Lex is awesome. He's right, man. God bless him, man. That's you nailed it. And
Fox, you want to know what's funny?
What?
The second unit has one mute on the team too, so that's 4 people really screaming and we can hear
it. Exactly. The silent assassin.
Yeah. No, I guess that's 2 then, because Sims doesn't really.
I thought you were talking to Sims at first, but I'm like, I don't know if he gets enough burn. But yeah, like I said, I'd love to hang out in a room with Sims and Burks, just the two of them.
Hear your own thoughts, right?
Well, everybody knows I love to talk, so I'd have a whole night of me just talking because they'd be saying shit.
Oh, man.
Hey, Alawai said Fournier is a taller Jose Calderon on defense. Speak about that. I love you, because that is a comparison in a million years I would have never come up with.
Right, Jose Calderon. I haven't even thought about him since he retired.
I didn't think about him when he was playing. So,
I mean, he had some good games against us when he was with the Raptors.
Yeah, no doubt. But he was, I always looked at him as a perennial, like, role player type of guy. So, we'll see. Temper Tantrum Grayson is what I call him. He's a dookie. I can only root for Tar Heels, baby. Yeah, those leg trips and stuff like that. He's one dirty player. I'm surprised nobody lit his butt up, man, for doing plays like that. Antonio Perez, Deuce McBride, and Quentin Grimes need to play point blank. Yep, Mr. Perez, I agree with you.
Much.
We haven't been given an opportunity. We got 4 minutes in crummy time against the garbage time against Suns, but I was hoping he got some burn yesterday. It made all the sense in the world for him to get it. And, we touched on it that, hey, right off the bat, he's going to be a better defensive player than Kemba he's a better defensive player than D Rose.
He'll be our best perimeter defender, I think, once we put him out there, regardless of who.
Hey, I know it was only one possession with CP3, but folks, he's a very disruptive guy, that 6'9" length and everything. So I'm shocked he didn't. But you know what? It's a long season. You saw already with Kemba and D Rose. Next man up sooner or later is going to be Deuce time, and I can't wait, because I think he has the temperament and the talent to really succeed in New York.
Thanks, Foxy. So, Foxy, we've been on for about an hour and a half. We'll wrap it up there. I think it was a phenomenal show. Chopping it up with SV Nation.
I love my SV Nation, man. They are wonderful.
And it feels better when we can come on here and talk after a win. Hate talking about the losing.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it either. And again, folks, please, I don't mean to come off hating in any way, anyhow. But I hope you know me by now. We've been together over a year or so, and you know how hard I work behind the scenes looking at the numbers and stuff. And also what my focus is. Hey, I'm old enough to understand the euphoria of seeing a New York Knicks team win a championship. I just want to pay that forward to see the joy that you would experience for the younger guys to experience that. So my as crazy as it sounds, I'm critical in a way because I want you to be able to experience that wonderful feeling of a championship team. And I've been around long enough to know what guys have it and what guys maybe don't. And that's what I like sharing with you. So thank you. Hey, Quiet Money, our guy pulled in, my brother. So Quiet Money, hope all is well with you and the family. Hope all is well.
Salute to Quiet Money. Foxy, Boost Mode was saying we shouldn't go. We're 25 likes away from 150.
Yo, I have a rerun of Gold Rush, so I have a boring life. Hey, folks, you want to do is right. Let's get, if you haven't, as we talk about, you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. If you haven't hit that subscribe, as you could tell, well, hopefully we're a little enlightening. Hopefully we're entertaining. Sometimes we're controversial, but it comes from a good place. And every Sunday at 8, we hope that, we're part of your routine, that that you can come here, you'll hear good Knicks talk, but also when I think the big differentiator is what we call the Sports Vibes Lounge. The last part of our show is your part. You ask the questions, you run the show, and we love that. We think that's a big differentiator for this show, the interaction that we have with you. So, so please hit all those things. Please share the like button. Please share the link with your favorite social media platforms. And most of all, please hit that all reminder bell so you don't miss out on my brother Keith's wonderful content that he puts out, because the guy never sleeps. Like I said, if I have an idea at 3 o'clock in the morning, send it. You get a response back in 1 second. Yeah, I'm doing x-rays. I'm doing something. I'm doing something. You never know what's going to come out of my guy's mouth. So,
also, looks like somebody's been watching Knicks Fan TV, and JD said he's looking like Canal Street Barrett lately, and that's in regards to RJ.
Canal Street Barrett, he's looking like Canal Street Barrett. I don't know. He's looking a little slow to me. I don't know about Canal Street, but I don't know. Do you understand that analogy?
Well, JD called not Broadway. JD called RJ
Broadway.
Canal Street. He called him Canal Street Barrett while he was having his rough stretch over on Knicks Fan TV.
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you see, what's happened is Alphabet City and Lower East Side ain't the same anymore. It's all upscale now, so it looks nice like Broadway now. So it's not like the old days where Canal Street was hurting.
Want to give a quick shout out to our guy Canal Banlaya for the $5 super chat. Appreciate the support. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, you could send us a cash app, or this is the money symbol, Sports Vibes TV. We appreciate all donations, and it help keep the light on and help us push out some more fire content. Trying to bring some more things to you guys here on the channel, so we appreciate any and all support, whether it be a super chat, super sticker, or you just tuning in and being active in the chat. Greatly appreciated, me and Foxy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Michael West, Broadway Barrett will show Foxy. Yo, did I say anything bad about RJ tonight? I thought he had.
I don't think we really spoke much about RJ tonight.
Yeah, I thought he had a little bit. He scored 15. I thought he had a nice game yesterday, so I didn't think I was hard on him. Called him slow, but the eyes don't lie.
Starting to break out of his slump a little bit. It was nice.
Yeah, everybody's telling me Canal Street is where you buy fake shit. So yep. So I'm old. I ain't buying nothing. So
yeah, I don't really go to Canal Street too often. I'm from the Bronx. There's not really much for me to do down there in Manhattan.
Yeah. That's not my turf either down that way. So I'm never down there.
Also, now with another $5 super chat. Appreciate it. He's saying we are getting closer to needing a move. Hopefully it's Randall. I think it's highly unlikely it'll be Randall, especially a year after signing him to that contract. But, I said it last year when he was out there going crazy. I'm open to moving Randall for the right deal. It has to just make sense. I'm not moving Randall just because I think, he's an issue and it will be better by subtraction.
It's about winning a chip, getting the right player. And Canal, thank you for the super chat, but watch it. Michael West may say something bad about you now. So,
Alexis Destroyer
Uh,
saying we love RJ, just want him to be consistent. That's a fact.
yeah,
RJ's been stressing me out
the
because
third year, man. Yeah,
it's an
first year
important
you can deal
time.
with it. Yeah, first year you can deal with inconsistency. Second year you can deal with a little less inconsistency. Third year you better be consistent.
Especially when we have to make a decision whether or not we're going to give you that rookie extension. I don't want to
Yeah,
be in that position that Aiton and the Suns are in because that's Phoenix. There's not going to be that much hoopla, and media fanfare or media, them getting out of control because they're not extending Aiton. But if they do that over here with quote unquote Broadway Barrett, we're not going to extend him. All you're gonna hear is, "Oh, the Knicks once again not being able to extend one of their rookies, et cetera, et cetera." Because we don't know if we're gonna extend Mitchell Robinson. If we don't extend Mitchell Robinson, that streak will continue, and all it's gonna do is raise the noise next season. And I don't want R.J. Barrett in year 4 having to deal with that kind of stress and distraction when
agree
we're
with you.
trying to see him develop and get better. So hopefully he's able to show that he could be that either secondary or whether it be a tertiary scorer with this unit and be worthy of a solid contract. And because even if you look at Lonzo, I don't want to say I want RJ to be Lonzo, but Lonzo got a healthy contract because you saw potential in him to get better. And I don't think RJ is going to come in the season, score 22, $23, 23 points per game and go crazy. I just want to see, slight increases in his performance offensively and him to continue to be elite on defense.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it the right thing in that the from a mindset we've seen him long enough. Um, I don't think he'll ever be a one, folks. So him being a two, hopefully a two or a three, uh, a third option on a team. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody could be a one. Yeah, I know he was the third pick, but you got to make your own shot. You got to have the handles. As my friend just said, you have to finish. George into the Knicks verse. If you haven't checked him out, please subscribe to his channel. Made a great point yesterday about you shooting 20 some odd percent from two. So from I think he said 3 to 14 feet, a statistic like that, classic mid range. He's bricking it this year, man, and he's not hitting from. But that'll come together. We saw it last year. But our point, Michael West and others, is that consistency. If we're hard on RJ, it's like, yo, man, like he's just said, we're thinking about the bag. How are you thinking about the bag for somebody? That's not playing at a level that you were expecting. Like I said, we're expecting him to be a 20-point scorer, and we're expecting a bad game for RJ to be 14 points. Not single digit, not bad lazy passes. We want to see not zero assists like the other night. We need to see all aspects of his game, and as a vocal leader. And what bothers me is he went through 5 games of elite playing, showing 3-level scoring, using either hand, hitting mid-range jumpers from the elbow, catch and shoot beautiful from 3. That's what we wanted for the rest of the season. So we went through 5 great games where we're seeing the blooming of a star, folks, and then all of a sudden, boom, crash burn, and now we're seeing. So who do we have? Who do we have?
Especially who can we rely on to be consistent?
Yeah,
Because right now the
he'll
only
be
people
there.
we can rely on right now for consistency is Derrick Rose, and even that, is kind of taboo to say because we're looking at him to be consistent, and he's not been available the last couple of games. So
Yeah,
hopefully RJ can step up and be a consistent option for us out there. Frequency is also saying RJ struggling like my crypto. It'll pay off soon.
I know he's so
LOL.
cool.
Yeah, crypto's down, but Tesla's up. Love me some
Oh,
Tesla.
yeah, I love me
Tesla's
some
going
index
crazy.
funds. I'm
Oh yeah.
I'm an old fashioned guy. Diversity of there. Hey,
I'm waiting for
Wilson.
that potential Tesla stock split. Let's see what happens.
Wilson, dang, RJ needs some lift. The only way RJ is going to get some lift if he straps on a rocket pack on his back because that guy has no hops. No, and we're seeing it so much on him trying to finish, man, especially in the Valley of the Giants at the rim, man. It looks like he has absolutely no hops at all. So, but that's why I'm saying we're freaking a quarter of a season in and he looks all tired. Come on, man. You're 21 years old. You should be having crazy bounce in those legs.
Facts. Joseph Chavez is saying RJ plays better when the ball is pushed, and that's why you see the thumbnail. A lot of people, not a lot, I'm gassing it. One or two people in the chat had mentioned, RJ with the second unit. The thumbnail wasn't to say RJ needs to be demoted to the second unit. It's that RJ flourishes with the second unit, and one of those main reasons is because they push the ball, they pick up the pace, and Emmanuel Quickly is very important in that, being able to try to attack the defense before they're able to get set. And if RJ is able to get some more minutes with those guys, I think it'll be beneficial. That's another reason why I want Emmanuel Quickly to get elevated to the starting lineup. Maybe we see less Julius Randle bringing the ball up and more of Emmanuel Quickly pushing the rock, you know, picking up the pace and allowing RJ to get good looks. I mean, Julius Randle was good in transition as well. So
Yep.
if Quickly is elevated to being our starter, I think it'll bode well for not only him and his, growth as a point guard, but also the development of RJ and also Julius Randle's stepping back from being the primary ball handler and kind of filling in as that four.
Yeah. Perfectly said. He's great in transition as long as he's not handling the ball.
Exactly, which is crazy.
No, seriously, but you don't want
you
don't want a big guy, a four handling ball if you got a guard. It's textbook stuff, So, but at the same time, he made a stunning pass. What was it, the Sims for a dunk yesterday?
Yes, that
So
hesitation. Yep.
yeah. So we're calling it. The talent's there. We just want to harness him to play within himself. Don't try to take the team on his back. We're not asking you to do that.
I was screaming at him during that play too, because at the start, RJ was open in the corner, and I'm like, "Hey, RJ's open. Julius passed it. What are you
Yeah,
doing?" But
there
then,
were a few plays last night that not only that, there were a few plays where it's like, yo, you missed an open guy all alone there, man. You gotta, when you rewatch the game tomorrow, you're gonna see, man, you gotta dribble with your head up. Come on.
Evan is saying, man, for the third pick in the draft, you're supposed to have a star, and RJ doesn't look like he's going to become one. Well, who would that third star in that draft be? Because if you're saying for the third pick you have to have a star, who are the three stars from that
I'm
draft?
with you, man. Garland's having a good year, but I wouldn't classify it as a star. Thank you. Exactly. And Cam Reddish is playing better, but I wouldn't class that. It stopped at Ja Morant.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So compare RJ to the other players drafted behind him, because
RJ was the only choice.
Those were the only players available to us. We can't get upset about what happened at 1 and 2. We didn't pick at 1 and 2. Those players weren't available for us. I think RJ still the best selection out of all those players drafted behind him, and I think the jury is still out as to who's going to be a better selection between Zion and Ja. I didn't
not even close.
We have to see though, because Zion,
well, just meaning Ja, had the injury, but but Zion was a marketing pick. You just knew that he can't shoot. He's unstoppable when he gets the ball in the paint, but when he plays, we talked about as being guys of history. Have we ever seen a guy his size play without have a career, successful career, no less a career? But you called it. Kudos to my brother here about the. He had to have a Jones fracture, man, and they kept that silent that he's out this long. And with his size and everything, that's an ugly injury to have, folks, and all the other things. So, Ja Morant, thank God it was only a sprain; he'll come back. But Ja is electric, man. So when you're picking in the top 3 like that, what we heard yesterday, Trae Young and Luka, and you heard all of these guys in that draft, and you're like saying, God, or like I always say, Jesus, the Bulls got Michael Jordan at number 3, and we got fucking RJ Barrett.
Listen, I still got faith in RJ actually becoming. I don't know if he'll be a star, but I don't think we need him to be a star per se.
He's going to have a fine career. He's going to be a really good player, and and he's a very good player for a 21-year-old. So our comments, like saying, hey. We're just going by the numbers. He was one of the worst finishers in the league last year. So we're asking for better development. We're asking for better handles so he can get better separation, so he can create his own shot. Do you want to give RJ at this point, folks, the ball with 5 seconds left where we want to win a game? Come on, let's be realistic. I'm not hating.
Yeah, what you call it? Wilson Dang is dropped a joke. He said Zion is out for extra few weeks because of his Thanksgiving meal. I
Wilson,
saw that meme. That was hilarious.
yeah, I love that, man. Yeah. Hey, when they played a few weeks ago, he's freaking huge. He's massive.
Hmm.
So even if that foot heals, how long is it going to take him to get into basketball shape? Because God knows how he had to be 300 pounds when we saw him a couple of weeks ago, man.
Hmm.
He's massive.
I mean, I've got Rui Hachimura on my team in fantasy, and he's been away from the team. He's still not in shape to get back on the court, and he wasn't dealing with any injury. It was him more so mental health trying to get back to the team. But now he said he's overcome with that. He's overcome that, and he's still not able to get on the court. So,
Yeah.
I told you early January. I mean, not early January, either mid January or sometime around February is when you'll probably see Zion come back on the court.
And folks, show some love for the Fox. Foxy said, "Hey, folks, about a month ago, I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but one of the surprise teams this year is the Washington Wizards. And sure enough, they're number one in the Southeast Division. They've surprised a lot of people this year. So show some love over here. I do a lot of homework to see. And like I said, look at that backcourt. It's going to be between Dinwiddie and Beal. That's 50 points. Like you said, Hachimura is not even there, but with Pope, I don't think Bryant's even there, but with Gafford and Kispert and all the guys, they have a nice little hey, I wouldn't mind us getting Pope.
Mm. I wouldn't go that far. I don't know.
I like defensive
Jerry's
guys.
Still out. I hear you.
I'm not, but meaning if I'm not saying give it up first round picks and stuff like that, but we'll see. So
yeah, we'll see. They've been surprising, and also I've been saying the Chicago Bulls were a real team headed into the season, and they're doing that thing as well. So the East is going to be difficult, but I think the Knicks, we have depth. And it's just going to come down to coaching and Julius Randle figuring things out. I think if those two guys, then those guys mean Thibs and Julius Randle, figure things out, we're in a good spot. I think we didn't allow ourselves to fall too far behind some of the top teams in the conference. So we're still in a position where we can go on a run and try to solidify that fourth spot.
Yeah, and for us to do that, it's all about us playing with a dog mentality. That's it's critical because we may not match up as well as we talked about with other teams. But if you're a dog and you playing physical ball, that's why the kids, the energy, the Grimes, and the others, Kemba at this stage, I don't know if he's not a dog, man. He's not going to do it that way. He wants to hug the guys after and before the game too much.
Shout out to Lex again. He's saying #new if you're new, so we can shout you out. Yep.
And give you a proper.
If you are new, your first time, let us know in the chat section. That way we can give you a shout out.
Yeah, we're 6 away, folks, from that 150 metric on likes. So if you haven't, please, hit that like button and that subscribe.
Hey, so Foxy, Joseph is new. Salute, Joseph. Thank you for pulling up to the live stream. We're here every Sunday at 8 p.m. So if you want to join into the chat as well, make sure you pull up and chop it up with us.
Yeah. Hey, good to meet you, Joseph. Looking forward to seeing you every week, man. Like we said, you may not agree, but that's what this is about, man. Just thought provoking, and we're a family. Don't always agree, but we love each other.
Foxy, Michael West is saying we wanted to trade Burks last week because Burks wasn't playing well last week, and I think there were other options on his team that could have served us better. But Burks, he has come alive, and I'll admit I was wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of Alec Burks. I didn't want us to re-sign him initially, but he's performing for this team, and I got to give him kudos. I'm not going to be 100% right on all of my decisions when it comes to who we should start and who we should bench, and the same thing we've on here saying with Thibs. But when players are performing and showing up for our team, I make sure I give them a shout out and I give them their proper respect. So shout out to Alec Burks for what he's been able to do for this team over the last few games, and hopefully
the season he's shooting 45% from three, so it's not just.
But he's really picked it up over the last few games.
For sure,
that's what I really want to give him a shout out for.
A so frequency.
You called us out on that one, and I'll bring it up. I'll bring attention to it. It's okay.
Yep, frequency. Kemba's Old Yeller. Yep, you know what they did at the end of Old Yeller, don't you?
Well, I never watched it. What they do?
They took him out of his misery. So basically, in basketball terms, do the same as OKC. Hey, thank you, but either sit on the bench for the rest of the season, or we'll gladly do buy you out and have a New York celebration and a send off. But those days are over, boy. You're not the Charlotte Kemba is long gone.
Yeah, Boost Mobile is saying, "Hey panel, we got it, y'all. Thank you, Boost. Thank you for holding it down. You and my guy Lex, phenomenal mods for the channel. Appreciate all your guys' support
Yeah,
and
we
you guys
do.
pulling up to all the live streams and holding it down for us."
Hey, my guy Dripmore. Hey, Dripmore. Hope all is well. Hope he had a nice holiday with the family. RJ is healthiest player out of the top three. Plus, what did Kobe do in his first 3 years? Yeah, but Kobe was a kid out of high school.
Yeah, Kobe went to the All-Star. What was it? Second year, if I'm not
uh,
mistaken. What year was
uh,
it?
I thought
He was
third, but it may be
third.
second.
It might
But
second or third, one of the two.
yeah, but he was a young kid,
He was
but
balling,
he's
still
balling.
balling.
Yep. May you rest in peace, man. What a player.
Yeah, that's my guy. Got
Yeah,
him over my shoulder.
I love players with fire like that. Like I'm gonna take your heart. That's my type of player, man. He'd look at you like you can't guard me, and that's what we want. That's why Booker the other night, like folks, give him some, you got to like him, man. He looked at it. He did it last night against the Nets. It was like, yo, I don't care who you put on me. I'm gonna score. Hey, Andrew. This is Obi's team. Hi, Andrew. Hope all is well. I don't know about Obi's team, but man, I love Obi's energy and I love what he brings to this team. Now, if he can just get that shooting up, and I think he will, he's going to absolutely be a valuable part of this team or a valuable part of a trade.
Yeah, so Kobe got drafted in '96 and went to the All-Star game in '98. So I don't think that
You
applies.
nailed it. Yeah. Yo, Michael, thanks for the super stickers.
Hey, thank you, Michael West, for the $3 super sticker. Appreciate your support. I
Yeah.
mean, Michael West, he does hold us. He makes us. He holds us accountable.
Oh,
He said,
I love what he says. Yeah, I only goof when I'm trolling him back when he trolls me. So I'm a Bronx boy, so I can't help it. So you got to stick up for yourself. But it's all cool. I'm a big boy. I like it, but hopefully he likes it too when I give it back.
Of course, I know
It's
Michael
all
West.
love.
It's all in love. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all love,
positive.
man, and all
So
respect.
salute to
Great
Michael.
respect, in fact. Like I said, I'm always, especially the thing when I watch, I watch every week after we finish the show, I'll rewatch the show so I could see the chat. And I learned
I made sure I put the live replay on for you guys.
Thanks, fellas. I learned so, and gals. I can't forget the first lady of SV Nation, Geraldine, and others. But I learned your comments are wonderful. So sometimes it's going so fast, it's hard to catch during a broadcast. So if I never say hi to you, if you say salute Foxy, it's never a personal thing. It's just real hard trying to keep your mind on what the question is, what the topic is, saying hi to you. It goes by, but believe me, I catch it the day after or so when I watch it. So I appreciate, your kind words and your shout outs, but also I appreciate your thoughts. So Michael West and others, Sherwin M, others that, they deep stuff, man. That makes me take a step back, and it just makes us all better. So I appreciate you sharing and allowing us to share with you. So nobody ever said that, you never heard me say what I said is right. I'm just saying it's what I think, so, but it's much respect.
We don't come on
much
here
respect.
To be correct 100%.
We're not snobs. We're just Bronx boys.
Oh, let's see. Somebody's getting a little ahead of themselves. Andrew was saying Obi is our Kobe.
Yo, what's he smoking?
He's got a ring to it. But I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, Kobe Knox, not Kobe Bryant.
I don't know about that. Don't put Knox on his last name.
Yo, yeah, I know, but yeah. Hey, I'm happy with Kobe. With his the difference of Obi this year to last year is monumental. So I'm happy with his growth. If he continues that, no complaints there. And I absolutely think his shot will start falling. Some of his shots yesterday had nice rhythm. It looked nice, just didn't go in. A couple of them went in and out. They'll start falling, and then when they do, it'll take him to the whole nother level, because then he can first drive to the basket, because they're going to have to guard him out there.
Boxy, we got a big announcement. Lex the Destroyer, Ahmad, is on top of it. He's saying thank you guys for 150 plus likes, best fans in the universe.
We're blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Foxy, you know what I just realized?
What?
This whole show,
Even using my studio mic, I was using the headphones mic.
Yo, you sounded good to me. Hello?
Can you hear a difference?
I can't hear a difference, but if you didn't bring it up, I could hear it. Yeah, it's a more meaning it's a different sound, but
It's a
but it was
fuller
all,
sound.
it's a fuller sound. It's a fuller sound.
I wanted to give just a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Lee. Thank you very
Round
much.
of
Elvis
applause
has
for
left the
150.
building.
Thank you guys for holding down the live stream and getting us over that threshold. I greatly appreciate it. Have to give you guys a quick round of applause.
Yeah, you're awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thank God for that Roadcaster.
Well, I got to start putting it to use. I just spent the whole stream not even using it. That's crazy.
Yeah, you got to be like me. You have stickers all over the place that I'm here. Like, oh, yep, that reminds me here and that. So, Quiet Money says, Kemba going to get that injury, this injury that's going to keep him from playing for the rest of the season. Well, I don't wish anything injury-wise. I just, we were talking about some MMA fight that happened yesterday. Keith and I off the air, and I was saying there's nothing worse to me than an older player that is not the same player, and that you got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him, and
Fold 'em. I worked valet at one of his
Hold it.
concerts.
I think my dog's barking again. Every time Keith sings, my dog starts barking. He did it in Las Vegas, and all my neighbors like, what's wrong with the dog? Well, Keith was in Vegas, and he started singing at the end of his video, and my dog went crazy. Obi reminds me of Stoudemire. Leroy Green, shout out to you again. If you're new, please let us know so we can give you a proper welcome. Obi reminds me of Stoudemire. Once he gets a mid-range shot and a post up a little more, he will be a bigger problem. Agree with you, Leroy. The thing about Stoudemire, he was a much bigger guy. Just from a look standpoint, he's very similar in his gait and everything to Amari, but I wish he was a touch bigger, Obi. It would be devastating. So, but I agree with you.
Teofimo lost all his belts last night. He got dropped too.
Who?
Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
We also got another super chat from Joseph Chavez, who also said he was new. Thank you for pulling up and donating to the show on your first watch along. I appreciate the support. He's saying, do you believe Obi plays more like a young Blake?
Well, let's put it this way. He'd play a hell of a lot more like a young Blake if he had a CP setting him up.
Exactly. You see a whole lot more of those highlight dunks.
Yeah, but you know what? With Quick and what we saw with Grimes and stuff, they're, like we said, I think he could be doing 3, unbelievable dunks a game, this guy. So, yeah, Joseph, I agree with you, man. I think he's very much like Blake. But you know what? The thing about Blake I respect, his game has changed. He evolved. The guy can shoot threes, even though they benched him now, the Nets. But his game evolved, and that's what players have to do when they get older. But Obi definitely has crazy hops, man. That play yesterday was like, he was at the roof.
A walking highlight reel. He's even talking about it on the bench. There was a moment where I forgot which game it was, and he was just talking about, "Hey, I want to end up on Sports Center." It's not the greatest goal to be having, while you're out there on the bench, but he's looking to make those splash plays, and those splash plays really excite this team and helps add to the energy that we have out there on the court.
And the thing that impresses me with Obi in those situations, either hand. So depending on how accurate the pass is, he can recover and do devastation with either hand. So I like that, man. I absolutely like that. Yo, even best, I'm a Bronx boy. Where are you from? Castle Hill Projects here. I had a great childhood growing up in the Castle Hill Projects, 2125 Randall Avenue, but my grandmother was in the Sedgwick Projects on University Avenue, and my other grandmother was in the projects on Watson Avenue. So growing up, I had friends on University Avenue, I had friends on Watson Avenue, besides my friends in Castle Hill. So I love the Bronx forever, man.
All right, Foxy. We've had a great show. We hit our, I mean, it really wasn't a goal, but Boost and Lex, they really help push us forward and help get to that 150 like mark. So shout out to them, best mods in the nation. We appreciate all the support you guys give us up here. It makes running a show a lot easier. So shout out to the mods. Also, chat, make sure you give the mods a thumbs up in the chat as well to let them know that they're doing a great job.
They're wonderful
with you guys and helping to drive the show as well. Foxy, any closing remarks?
Just love you, SV Nation. Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for tuning in every 8 o'clock every Sunday. We live all week. You should see how excited we get that we live for, talking with you and putting on a show and doing everything that we can to just make this the best show possible. So thank you for all your support. It's greatly, greatly appreciated.
Yep. So once again, like Foxy said, just want to reiterate your support greatly appreciated. We're going to close the show with a song from our guy Jay Boogie called The Squad. He's a big supporter of the channel, and I would like to support him as well with his music endeavors. So thank you guys. Thank you, chat. Thank you, SV Nation, for sticking with us through a phenomenal show. Foxy, thanks for all you do as well. This is The Squad by our
Love
guy,
you, SV Nation.
Jay Boogie.
Yeah, I told you I'm about to put on a suit and tie, look like Jerome or something with that mirror. Cause when you look good, you ain't gotta worry about nobody telling you how you look. So never mind what the haters say. They wanna hate what they love in the franchise. With Spice letters, the orange with the blue skies. It's no city more famous with the nightlife. We celebrate feeling good, it's the Knicks, right? They wanna hate what they love in the franchise. With Spice letters, the orange with the blue skies. It's no city more famous with the nightlife. We celebrate feeling good, it's the Knicks, right? We all know right now who brought the city back. Tell D-Rose Noel ties, let's run it back. With Burks said he inking in that new contract. Some new money have you pushing that Maybach. I hear the talk, Katie say we ain't cool no more. We'll tell that to the Barclays when they open the door. Before the game, red carpets get rolled out. You see the stars, attendance mean we sold out. Ain't no arena feeling like this gym. Clyde with that brim, Nick jersey with some butter Tims. This for the ones that continue to love the hate. And how Max went from his first to his last take. They say, Boogie, why you talk like that? I'm spitting bars, so I'ma talk like that. Yeah, the media got me feeling like that. My James Brown saying this is my payback. They wanna hate what they love in the franchise. With Spice letters, the orange with the blue skies. It's no city more famous with the nightlife. We celebrate feeling good, it's the Knicks, right? They wanna hate what they love in the franchise. With Spice letters, the orange with the blue skies. It's no city more famous with the nightlife. We celebrate feeling good, it's the Knicks, right? Some real fans to the game, that mean we stay loyal. Twist the cap off the top so you can crown royal. I promise you about to see a league mess. I'm right beside Mr. Worldwide West, gunning championship Escobar with the cigar. The next track, Mr. Dolan on the guitar. Play that, in fact, this a new anthem. Tell Mr. Itzler you need a new Hawk anthem. Everybody put your hands in the air. I wanna see you with your hands in the air. Celebrate your life. Everybody put your hands in the air. I wanna see you with your hands in the air. You a Knick for life. They don't live how we live when we do what we do. We do what we do. They don't do it. We represent to the fullest. This that orange and blue. That orange and blue. You a Knick for life. They wanna hate what they love in the franchise. With Spice letters, the orange with the blue skies. It's no city more famous with the nightlife. We celebrate feeling good, it's the Knicks, right? They wanna hate what they love in the franchise. With Spice letters, the orange with the blue skies. It's no city more famous with the nightlife. We celebrate feeling good, it's the Knicks, right? Drop that. Just feel the beat for a moment. Feel that? Now bring it back.